Paul's got a big picture.
I've got a sketch.
Okay, so we've got a new month and a new project. So this month's project is people. Just like I'm thinking full figures. We could start off with a little bit head and shoulders, but I'm thinking let's work our way into people. So it could be, so you can obviously, if you do fancy taking on this project, go with whatever way you want to work it. It could be people within a landscape setting, or it could be where people are the main subject of the painting or the drawing, whatever you want. So I was thinking what might be quite nice today, if you're up for this, is maybe a few very quick kind of 5-minute sketches of each other. So, fancy trying that. So we did this morning, and some people had a go and some didn't. But if you do fancy trying, it might be quite nice if maybe one person sat for 5 minutes and the other person drew and then swap over. Or you could do it in little tiny groups.
I'm going to be small sport. I don't really want to be drawing today because I'm a bit tired and moody.
And you might come across another sketch.
So that's the idea, and obviously you can do this. Yeah, one or two people really got into it this morning. One woman was going around, playing people with the and do sketches. So could be a good subject. So I'll do a quick demo, and really, what else got? So yeah, in terms of if you did want to work from photographic references, this little pile of folders here, I went through my filing cabinet and found pictures that included people in them. So there's all sorts of things there. So there's that. There's a couple of books that, to be honest, I don't know how good they are. I got given these, and they're like illustrators' reference books. So these were really intended for illustrators. They're probably right. They're rather old, these books now, but they're a bit on the small side, the pictures. But if you want to use have a go at any of those, just those. I do a lot of sketching from life, so that's why I'm suggesting this. So this is the sort of thing I do when I'm perhaps on a train or tube, that sort of thing. So I brought sketchbooks in, there's quite a few there if you want to have a look at those. I think that's it, a couple of the paintings. So this is, when I'm drawing from life, so these sort of things, I tend to just use pens, and I don't over worry about it. I just put a few lines down, and if I've got time, I use some of these sort of grey felt pens, just to get a little bit of tone in. So for me, that's a really nice, quick way of sketching. The drawings don't get smudged. It's just there and then. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. It's just a piece of paper. I used to do a lot of life drawing and also taught life drawing for a while. And this approach is more like how I used to teach the life drawing. And what I would suggest is, so say I was going to go at drawing really, let's just start off with a rough idea, and using something like a light coloured pastel pencil works quite nicely because you can get rid of it, or you can just draw a bit darker over the top. So if I was going to draw him, I'm thinking like maybe his head about there. He's pretty square onto us, so the middle of his features would be perhaps these are almost like thinking lines or guidelines. So that would be the middle of his features. You'll find when you're drawing people that your eye level is about halfway from the top of your skull to your chin. So I could pop a line there for his eye level, and then I don't need to go into too much detail, but you've roughly got about an eye's width between your eyes. So if I was going to draw his eyes in there, it'd be at least an eye's width. Now Prince is slightly wider than an eye's width. I've drawn him a few times, but I've never seen anybody who's less than an eye's width. You won't find anybody who's sort of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always, or even something more like that. It's always going to be at least an eye's width. So people do vary a lot. That is something that's just to keep in the back of your mind that it's going to be at least that way. When you're drawing like features like noses and mouths, it's probably between the eyes and the chin, you're probably looking at about 2/5 to get to the nose level, maybe another 1/5 to the mouth. Perhaps a little bit, maybe not quite 2/5 for the chin, but something along those. what I'd always encourage you to do is just have a good look, just really observe what have a good look at the spaces. But again, it's a bit like the perspective when we were looking at vanishing points for the last project. It's an idea worth having in the back of your mind when you're drawing these rough proportions. If you're looking at somebody that's completely from the side, so say that was like the front of the face, and you had an eye here, and chin here, you'd find that the back of somebody's ear is about the same distance as the corner of the eye to the chin. So again, that's something worth just bearing in mind. It will be, you find when you're drawing, these bits aren't that exciting. There's not a lot happening here. And there's a tendency to to squash that together, maybe to make features too big. And again, if you're drawing a profile, to make the ear, draw the ear in here, because it's not really very interesting between the corner of the eye and the ear roll. There's not that much happening. So again, it's just one of those things, just be aware of roughly the proportions. So as I say, that would be the start of it. I might just try and get a bit of an idea where his hairline would be. That's eyebrows there. Something a little bit like that. And rough out shapes. He's got a goatee beard, something a little bit like that. And again, this is quite light, so I can rub it out or redraw the lines. And then when it comes to body, I think his shoulder comes to about there. If you're trying to draw limbs, and I'll go into this a little bit more next week when I go to the full figure, just trying to imagine where the middle of the bones would be. So the top part of his arm would be there. This part of his forearm, perhaps a little bit foreshortened, and then hand, perhaps in here, and just draw almost like a whole shape around the hand. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but we'll concentrate on this little area, and then stomach probably there. And then once I've got the line through the middle of the bones, I can just start to sort of place where everything will be. So that's using something light, just to get all your thinking lines out, and the lines that relate one point to another. It could be that you just want to get there isn't much out. Well, with Lyndon, there's a little bit of an angle between his shoulders. One shoulder is slightly higher than the other. Not so much here, but you could just put a line in to help you guide you where something else is going to be. So it's trying to encourage you to be a little bit fluid. Doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to be like a perfect finished drawing. And then once I'm there, I then would just work into those shapes. Just start to flesh it out a little bit. Perhaps a little bit of tone. Nose perhaps there. Shadow there. Perhaps a little bit too far apart. Maybe I need to make a bigger eye. Shadow there. Yeah, so it's basically kind of going over the drawing, but adding a little bit more detail, a little bit more definition, making some alterations, perhaps bring that hairline down a little bit, up a little bit there. Yeah, so it's just sort of fleshing it out then. So that's what I suggest. They don't need to take too long, perhaps 5-10 minutes. And then onto something else. Quick drawing. Or maybe not even that much definition. What you could do is just keep it as just very much a sort of figure shape like drawing.
It was a lot like it. Do you think it helps because you know his face well as well?
Well, maybe. But I think it would be the same with anybody really. Just trying to sort of draw quickly.
Can I ask a quick question about the
Yeah.
eyes? You know how you said there's sort of in the middle?
Yeah.
You see, that's from like the very top
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. From really the top of your skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I always think they're higher, but yeah, I hear that a lot, and it's funny because my brain goes, You're talking about from the very top.
Yeah, yeah.
Because your forehead and your head's going like that.
Yeah, because I suppose from your hairline up here, there's quite a bit of space. And you can just, if I've just measured from his eye, I know it's a bit of a small photo to the top of his head, that does take me down there. Just measure it and then compare
It's
it.
funny, isn't it?
Yeah. And particularly with a bigger photograph, it's a bit easier to do.
Yeah, exactly.
If like you've got the head tilted down or up, it will vary. Sometimes the eye level will be lower than halfway, or might be higher than halfway if you've got your head tipped back.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if you square on, it's about halfway. If anybody wants paper, I've got some A3 paper here. If you just want a bit of sketching paper. Okay, good to go. Looking enthusiastic.